Hello, Assalamualaikum everyone. We are from Group 4 presenting about the history of electrical from year 1801 to 2008. In 1816, the first electrical telegraph was invented by Sir Francis Ronald. He is a scientist and inventor whose achievements span the discipline of electricity, meteorology, photography, mechanics, optics, and more. He is the first electrical engineer. He demonstrated that message could be transmitted quickly over a long distance using electric signals. The information was transmitted using a rotating dial at each end, marked with letter and the alphabet, numbers, and useful message.
Next is in 1820. It's about the electric field create a magnetic field. Sir Hans Christian Ørsted, who discovered that electric current in a wire can deflect a magnetized compass needle. A magnetic needle aligns itself perpendicularly to a current-carrying wire. Definite experimental evidence of the relationship between electricity and magnetism. It is inspired the development of electromagnetic theory. In the same year, 1820, Sir Andrew Mary Ampere made the revolutionary discovery that a wire carrying electric current can attract or repel another wire next to it that's also carrying electric current. He found that if electric current flows in the same direction in two nearby parallel wires, the wires attract one another. And if the current flow in the opposite direction in two nearby parallel wires, the wire will repel one another. So the SI unit of electric current, the ampere, is named in his honor, who first defined electric current as a circulation of electric fluid in a closed circuit. In 1891, thermoelectricity effect was defined. Thomas Johann Seebeck found that a circuit made from two dissimilar metals with junctions at different temperatures would deflect a compass magnet. Believed this was due to magnetism induced by the temperature difference, and though it might be related to the Earth's magnetic field. In 1825, Sir William Sturgeon found about the electromagnet. The first electromagnet he built was a horseshoe-shaped piece of iron that was wrapped with a loosely wound coil of several turns. When a current was passed through the coil, the electromagnet became magnetized, and when the current was stopped, the coil was demagnetized. Sturgeon displayed its power by lifting 9 pounds with a 7-ounce piece of iron wrapped with wires, through which the current of a single cell battery was sent. In 1827, Sir George Ohm, a German physicist, found about the electrical resistance. He is the one who defined about the Ohm's law. He said that voltage is directly proportional to current and resistance. The physical unit of electrical resistance, the ohm, also was named after him. Next is in 1831, the law of induction. Sir Michael Faraday. He built the first electric motor. He said that any change in the magnetic environment of a coil of wire will cause a voltage, EMF, to be induced in the coil. No matter how the change is produced, the voltage will be generated. In 1836, Sir Nicholas Joseph Callan invented the transformer in Ireland. The development of electrical science, inventor of the induction coil, which led to the modern transformer. He constructed a giant battery of 577 cells, producing enormous current of electricity. He made an independent discovery of Ohm's law. He also constructed one of the first DC electromotors and wrote a patent of the protection of iron from rusting. In 1837, The inventor of the electric relay, Sir Edward Davy. He developed the electromagnetic repeater, which consists of a relay to pick up and magnify electrical signal. He used a magnetic needle which dipped into a mercury contact when an electric current passed through the surrounding coil. In 1839, Sir Edmund Becquerel discovered the photovoltaic effect. He believed that shining light on an electrode submerged in a conductive solution would create an electric current. In his experiment, he placed silver chloride in an acidic solution and illuminate it while it was connected to platinum electrode. As a result, it generated voltage and current. And in 1844, Sir Samuel Morse developed the telegraphy and the Morse code. He developed a prototype of the telegraph. He also developed the system of dots and dash for sending signals that would eventually become known as Morse code. Morse strung wires between two committee rooms in the Capitol and sent messages back and forth. In 1845, Sir Gustav Kirchhoff developed laws known as Kirchhoff's circuits law. The first law said that the sum of the voltage drop around a closed loop is equal to the sum of the voltage source of the loop. That is Kirchhoff's voltage law. The second law is the Kirchhoff current law. He said that the current arriving at any junction point in a circuit is equal to the current leaving that junction. In 1850, Sir Florence Knowlton invented and patented a practical AC generator. He designed plans for large-scale generators for the galvanization industry, for limelight and for electric arc. His magneto-electric generator, designed for decomposing water by electrolysis using steam power, was patented in England in 1850. In 1855, Sir Guillaume Duchenne found ways to apply the electrode to isolate certain muscle. By applying voltage to muscle, even the muscle of the paralyzed or recently dead, it was possible to make the muscle tissue twitch. Duchenne also made limited progress using Faraday current, AC current, to treat paralyzed, finding that by applying high current, certain patients could regain use their muscle. In 1856, Sir Charles Boswell proposed telephony. He said that suppose that a man speak near a movable disc sufficiently flexible to lose none of the vibration of the voice, that this disc alternately makes and breaks the current from a battery. You may have at a distance another disc which will simultaneously execute the same vibration. It is certain that in a more or less distant future, speech will be transmitted by electricity. I have made experiments in this direction. They are delicate and demand time and patience, but the approximation obtained promised a favorable result. In 1860, Sir Johann Philipp Reis invented microphone. He constructed a precursor of the electric telephone. In Reis' instrument, a contact in an electrical circuit was established between a metal point and a metal strip resting on the membrane in the transmitter.
1862. Published 4 equations bearing his name. James Clerk Maxwell, best known for his formulation of electromagnetic theory. Sir Maxwell's equations for electromagnetism have been called the second great unification in physics, after the first one realized by Isaac Newton. The concept of electromagnetic radiation originated with Maxwell and his field equation based on Michael Faraday's observation of the electric and magnetic lines of force, paved the way for Einstein's special theory of relativity, which established the equivalent of mass and energy.
1866 transatlantic telegraph cable, an undersea cable running under the Atlantic Ocean used for telegraph communications. Before the first transatlantic cable, communications between Europe and the Americas took place only by ship. The transatlantic cable reduced communication time considerably, allowing a message and a response in the same day. 1873, Belgian engineer Zenobe Gramme, who developed a DC generator, accidentally discovered that the DC generator also works as a DC motor during an exhibit in Vienna. 1876, Russian engineer Pavel Yablochkov invented electric carbon arc lamp. 1876, Scottish inventor Alexander Graham Bell invented telephone. 1877, first street lighting in Paris, France. 1877, American inventor Thomas Alva Edison invented phonograph. 1877, German industrialist Werner von Siemens developed primitive loudspeaker. 1878, first hydroelectric plant in Creekside, England. 1878, Joseph Swan, English engineer, invented incandescent light bulb. 1879, Edwin Herbert Hall, American physicist, discovered the Hall effect. 1879, Thomas Alva Edison introduced a long-lasting filament for the incandescent lamp. 1880, the brothers Pierre Curie and Jacques Curie, French physicists, discovered piezoelectricity. 1882, first thermal power system stations in London and New York. 1883, English physicist J.J. Thomson invented waveguide. A waveguide is a structure that guides waves such as electromagnetic wave or sound with minimal loss of energy by restricting expansion to one dimension or two. 1887, Emil Berliner, German-American inventor, invented the gramophone record. 1888, Heinrich Hertz, a German physicist, proved that electromagnetic waves travel over same distance. It is a first indication of a radio communication. 1888, Italian physicist and electrical engineer Galileo Ferraris publishes a paper on the induction motor, and a Serbian-American engineer Nikola Tesla gets a US patent on the same device. 1890, Thomas Alva Edison invented fuse. 1893, during the Fourth Intercontinental Conference of Electricians in Chicago, electrical units were defined. 1894, Russian physicists developed a prototype of a radio receiver. 1897, Carl Ferdinand Braun, a German inventor, invented cathode ray oscilloscope, or CRO.
In 1900, the first radio broadcast was invented by Sir Guglielmo Marconi. He is an Italian inventor and electrical engineer known for his pioneer work on long-distance radio transmission. He development of Marconi's law and a radio telegraph system. He credited as the inventor of radio, the recognition of their contribution to the development of wireless telegraphy. In 1901, Sir Guglielmo Marconi also invented the first transatlantic radio broadcast. He established a wireless transmitting station at Marconi's house in England. He soon made the announcement that the message was received at Signal Hill in St. John, Newfoundland on 12 December 1901 by using a 500-foot kite-supported antenna for reception signals transmitted by the company New Hire station at Porthoo, Cornwall. On the same year, Sir Peter Cooper Hewitt invented the fluorescent lamp. He is an American electrical engineer and inventor. He was born in 5 May 1861. In 1901, he invented a patent a mercury vapor lamp, a gas discharge lamp that used mercury vapor produced by passing through current through the liquid mercury. His first lamp had to be started by tilting the tube to make contact between the two electrodes and the liquid mercury. Later, he developed the inductive electrical ballast to start the tube. In 1902, Hewitt developed the mercury arc rectifier, the first rectifier that could convert alternating current power to direct current without mechanical means. In 1904, Sir John Ambrose Fleming invented a vacuum diode. He was born in 29 November 1849. He is an electrical engineer and physicist. He is known for inventing the first thermionic valve or vacuum tube. He also established the left-hand rule for electric motors. In 1906, Sir Lee De Forest invented triode. He is an American inventor, self-described father of radio, and a pioneer in the development of sound on film recording used for motion pictures. He is the most famous invention in 1906 was the three-element audition triode vacuum tube, the first practical amplification device. In 1908, Sir Alan Archibald Campbell Swinton laid the principle of television. He is a Scottish consulting electrical engineer. He is the first man to envision a completely electronic television system. He described a design using cathode ray tube to both capture the light and display the image. He proposed as early as 1907 to use a cathode ray tube to display an image as the receiver. Swinton's proposed system was unique in that it also included a modified version of a cathode ray tube to be used to capture the light or as the transmitter. In 1911, Hick-Hamelin-1 discovered about the superconductivity. Superconductivity is a phenomenon of exactly zero electrical resistance and expulsion of magnetic flux field occurring in certain materials, called superconductor, when cooled below a characteristic critical temperature. On 8 April 1911, Sir Hamelin-1 found that at 4.2 Kelvin the resistance in a solid mercury wire immersed in liquid helium suddenly vanished. He reported that mercury has passed into a new state, which on account of its extraordinary electrical properties may be called the superconductive state. In 1912, Sir Edwin Howard Armstrong developed the electronic oscillator. He is an American electrical engineer and inventor, best known for developing frequency modulation radio and the super heterodyne receiver system. In 1915, the French physicist Sir Paul Lagrange and the Russian engineer Sir Konstantin Chalsky invented SONAR. SONAR is an acronym for Sound Navigation and Ranging. Is a technique based on echolocation used for the detection of objects underwater. He invented the first system designed to utilize sound wave and acoustical echoes in an underwater detection device in year 1872 to 1946. In the wake of the Titanic disaster, Langevin and his colleague Konstantin Chalsky, a Russian engineer then living in Switzerland, developed what they term a hydrophone as a mechanism for ships to more readily detect icebergs. In 1921, Madam Edith Clark invented the Clark calculator. It is a graphical calculator for solving line equations involving hyperbolic function, allowing electrical engineers to simplify calculation for inductance and capacity in power transmission line. She was the first female electrical engineer and the first female professor of electrical engineering at the University of Texas at Austin. She specialized in electrical power system analysis and wrote circuit analysis of AC power system. The device could solve line equation involving hyperbolic function 10 times faster than previous method. In the same year, Sir Harold Stephen Black invented the negative feedback amplifier. Negative feedback worked as sacrificing gain for higher linearity. By sacrificing gain, it also has an additional effect of increasing the bandwidth of the amplifier. However, a negative feedback amplifier can be unstable, such as it may oscillate. Once the stability problem is solved, the negative feedback amplifier is extremely useful in the field of electronics. Black published a famous paper, Stabilized Feedback Amplifier, in 1934.
1936 developed frequency modulation detector circuit by Dudley E. Foster and Stuart William Seeley. FM Foster-Seeley discriminator or detector circuit. The circuit was invention for automatic frequency control of receiver, but also found application in demodulating an FM signal. A transformer tuned to the carrier frequency is connected to two rectifier diodes. The circuit resembles a full-wave bridge rectifier. If the input equals the carrier frequency, the two halves of the tuned transformer circuit produce the same rectified voltage and the output is zero. In 1936, invented printed circuit board by Paul Isler. At that time, all circuits were made by point-to-point connection using wire. It made circuit complicated to manufacture and very prone to error. He began to fabricate a radio using a printed circuit board. Imagine how the printer process could be used to lay down electronic circuit on an insulating base and do so in volume. A product with an insulated base like glass or plastic with wire printed on it that can conduct electricity. In 1938, developed iconoscope by Vladimir Kevorkian. While a student, he assists one of his professors, Boris Rosin, who was experimented with a mechanical scan television system. He explained that the iconoscope replaced mechanical scanning apparatus and was far more sensitive than the flying spot scanner used previously. He continued that the iconoscope employed a photosensitive MOSFET, with each MOSFET acting as a miniature photoelectric cell. The MOSFET element become charged by exposure to light and subsequently scanned by a cathode ray to produce intensity modulating of the television transmitter signal. He concluded that the iconoscope offers new prospects for achieve high-grade television transformation. In 1939, developed FM radio receiver by Edwin Howard Armstrong. They revealed an entirely new radio system from transmitter of receiver. The new system vary or modulate the wave frequency. This creates a carrier wave that natural, static, and amplitude phenomenon created by electrical storm could not break into. As a result, FM wide frequency range made possible the first clear practical method of high fidelity broadcasting. In 1941, developed the program computer by Concrete Zeus. It was the first electronic fully programmed digital computer based on a binary floating point number and a switching system. The principle of work of the machine was improved, introducing some parallelism. A 22-bit worth of data could be moved from the memory to the register and in one step. In 1947, invented transistor by William Shockley. He was born in London, England on 13 February 1910. Able to operate an amplifier using a transistor made with germanium, manufactured the first point contact transistor. He manufactured a transistor that was different from the point contact one, named the junction transistor. One of Shockley's major work was a trace called Electron and Hole in Semiconductor that was published in 1950. This include his diode equation and formed the basis of much semiconductor work for many years to come. In 1948, invented holography by Dennis Gabor. The physical principles of holography are based on the wave nature of light, and they are interference and diffraction. Gabor made his first hologram in 1948 using a light source that was consisted of a mercury arc lamp with a narrow band green filter, one of the best coherent light source before the laser. In 1958, invented the integrated circuit (IC) by Jack Kilby. He was soon able to design an integrated circuit, combine previously isolated electronic elements to work together in a miniature environment that would be known as a microchip. Later, invented the first integrated circuit-based calculator for general consumer use, and thus become the pocket calculator. In 1960, invented laser by Theodore Harold Maiman. He dramatically improved the performance and design of the laser, reduced its weight from the original, and delivered it on time. The final version worked with liquid nitrogen cooling. In 1962, invented LED by Nick Holonyak Jr. He wanted to find a way to create a laser directly with a semiconductor instead of by producing light with an incandescent bulb and amplifying it. Holonyak aimed for the visible with gallium arsenide phosphide. Became the first person to operate a visible semiconductor alloy laser, the device that illuminated the first visible LED. 2008, invented memristor by R. Stanley Williams. Is a hypothetical nonlinear passive two-terminal electrical component relating electric charge and magnetic flux linkage. The memristor structure may include a switch layer interposed between the second electrode and the buffer layer to form, when a voltage is applied, a filament or path that extends from the second electrode to the buffer layer and to form a Schottky-like contact or the heterojunction between the filament and the buffer layer.
That's all for our group. Thank you.